Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the session here, and I believe you must be exhausted. It's specifically after the fantastic lunch you guys had, and everywhere on the park, wherever you go and see. And I just heard there are some beers also in the probably the garden side. So a couple of rules. Please open your recliner and you can relax it down because I think we will take you some journey of Kronos. And I think what we're going to show you here is definitely, in a very high level synopsis, talking about Kronos, what we are. I'm sure you guys know us, but we play into a niche area of the market, but I think we'd like to explain that. And then also talk about our journey in the Google Cloud 3 years back and when we chose Google. So I think, and I'll appreciate in case you guys have any question in the middle, feel free to ask and come to the podium and speak here because they're trying to record every question. And if you cannot, let me know. I will try to repeat it for you. Okay. So some highlight about Kronos. We have been in the market for close to 41 years now. Massachusetts-based organization. Close to, we serve plus 40 million employees. I know we were talking about billions, everything what we see in Google, what they do. And we have close to 40 million and across all 100 countries, represent 31 locations across Kronos, and cater Fortune 500 companies leveraging Kronos, and also our partners who leverage Kronos. We have a various workforce management offering and human capital offering, which kind of touches the every nimble area of workforce management, from a timekeeping to human resources, to labor analytics, and to the scheduling area. So in short, any area which touches the labor productivity index, specifically from any vertical, any organization across the world, and I know when I saw a lot of registration, there are a lot of customers who are here, including Google, using Kronos into our various offerings what we have. So we will talk about, I think, these are the key areas, what domain which Kronos serves. But we'll talk about our next generation offering, which we kind of built on our 41 years experience and the input from you guys, from the customers. And I'm sure when I say you guys, I will see a lot of other people coming in soon here. So I would like to give you some, some analysis here. So we are not new in cloud. We started our cloud journey around 2006. We have today 24,000 customers in our cloud, which is on one of our legacy offering, which is Workforce Central Domain, and 90% of all our SaaS deals are on cloud. So I think the experience of running in a cloud, the cloud SaaS business, I think exists in Kronos. So that transformation happened for us long time back. But I think the cloud native way, the next generation of cloud, where we say the product built in purely cloud nativeness, we started that journey almost 4 years back, and I think that is where the birth of Dimension. And I believe if you have seen our CEO Aaron Ann speaking about, I think the code name Project Falcon, which had a big story, which I don't want to cover here, not to bore you guys, what we started. So one of the 3.5 years, 4 years back, one of the key goal, our CEO said, make Kronos out of the business. He was looking for a next generation SaaS offering, which is purely cloud native, which is purely SaaS, but also thinking about the future of workforce management, keeping in view customers. What customers think about Kronos? We have loyal customers running from Kronos from 25, 30 years. And if you want to build the next generation SaaS offering, what areas of interest, what areas of opportunities for customer, for us, we would like to bake into it. So I think on the verge of that, the birth of Dimensions, which is our next generation SaaS offering, which went live this year, went ahead, and I think we have close to 70 plus customers during implementation phase, and we have close to 6-7 customers already live, well served, sitting on a Google Cloud doing it. It's almost for a year now. So the basic of Dimension, and I think I would like to give you a very high level, and I will try to take you deep down in each area, just to give you some overview of that birth of Dimension with respect to our customers' experience, what customers look for us. So if you, in a very simple way, understand the customers for our product, are basically three areas of people. There's a manager in an organization who wants to make sure that he can manage the labor productivity level in terms of rostering, timekeeping. And there's a user itself where, all of us, we use time and attendance, you want to punch it, use biometrics, timesheets. How can an employee experience can change? And then I think the IT team itself, those organizations who are sitting inside and everything is going cloud native, they're challenged at how they can integrate the entire back office system and make it more effective. That is a big challenge, actually. Everyone wants to go cloud, but the internal cloud IT teams still have some legacy applications. So some people are far ahead, like Google. They are the first one, but there are some people, organizations who are last, still, dealing with, on-prem versus hybrid versus multi-cloud, and I believe you guys heard that loud and clear in all your sessions. So our journey will go into that part, and keeping all these areas of interest, keeping our customers' investment. I think we want to build this revolutionary workforce management experience, which we call Dimensions, and then I think we will also talk about that, how partnering with Google, what gave Kronos and why Dimensions carries a different experience which we already have, and how we leverage our experience with working with you as a customer, we added some features. And for sure, I think I'm not going to talk something new about it, but I'm going to talk about the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and then also the cloud platform, how we are leveraging it from Google and building this next generation offering by enhancing the customer user experience. So I think we started this project with a simple experience, as I said, with managers, with employees, and with IT organization. Managers want to make sure that they have very less time and they have a lot of team members to, to manage with their routine tasks, with their timekeeping schedules, and think about different verticals. Think about, hospitality vertical. Think about the retail vertical. Think about, the IT technical vertical or public sectors. Large organization enterprises, when managers are just focusing still on timesheets, rostering sheets, the manual way, how can we enhance their experience? And then the employees I spoke about, where employees want to make sure that, when they need time off, when they need their rostering, it's all available to them, and the amount of time which is being wasted in getting those things processed when the manager doesn't have a time, how we can plan that out. And then IT. And I think we thought, how can we innovate against these features? How cool it would be that if a manager, he can drastically reduce his time by automatically the time key, the rostering, the labor level can be automatically done for him. How can we analyze that data which exists for him and can be predictive by giving him recommendations? How can we have an employee where when he's submitting for a time off can be automatically approved when we know that what shift pattern he does and how they're managing it out? And then for sure, I think the foundation principle, which I believe, which Google has been trying to teach us from last 2-3 days, how can you leverage the foundation principle of the APIs, the foundation principle of the integrations, and the data which you have by creating a cluster computing framework, which can govern the responses for you, which can give an organization like IT teams their integration services where they can hook this with any back office system without even thinking about it, which normally today becomes a big project in our existing world. And we'll talk about these areas. I'm not trying to intentionally give a high level, but starting the areas of opportunities and key interests we look into. And for sure, when you get into a cloud native business, the entire high availability, entire global deployment, entire supportability comes by default with that. So I'll give you a simple example. Take a very simple example. We built a workforce advisor which automatically detects an employee, his name is Michael, his routine decision that if I'm Michael and I'm submitting my time card, that should automatically get approved. Why it has to go to manager? Why manager should waste his time approving it when the inline algorithm and inline policy also already mentions that that employee has dates, has time available, and it could be approved. So how could you increase the productive level for the entire organization, which can talk into the labor resource index, can talk into millions and billions depending upon the size of organization what you manage. And we are using these combination by using the artificial intelligence and the business rule, which I believe, A, we have from our experience of 41 years, plus working with you as a partner, and then leveraging the inline technology, what we are trying to leverage and build out. There's a very big difference when I will come and talk about a very high-level dimension architecture, the approach we want to use when we build with Google. That will differentiate a little bit the way people do it with cloud native versus the way Kronos took an approach. Then also, I think we also thought about one of the key areas is how data is everywhere. I believe the best part which Google has done, that how they can forecast and display that data analytically to us, where you see fun facts, they're processing 300 billions of data. It exists, but I think how people are presenting that out is the game here. So in our business, in a workforce management business, if you can forecast and predict that I have labor productivity available, and I know what are the areas of concern in one of the section, and I know that if the timekeeping, I know the productive index is not going fine, and then your data can predict and give you those forecast ratio when you're trying to plan out. I think that is what you need, and I think that is what the new featuring forecasting solution we added, which predicts the user experience. We have tools available which will tell you, based on the customer, their vertical, their location, how can you provide the index which can give you the improvement efficiencies. For sure, I think, as I said, the cloud native brings some fundamental foundation principles. So we reformed the entire UI for Dimension, where where the world is changing, where nowadays an app drives the behavior rather than you click on app, like Facebook, LinkedIn, or any other model. Like even if you see Google Console, I think the way they drive it. So part of our UI, I think we totally reformed the UI where it is purely cloud native, and it has a way where when you log in, so there are days when you want an analytical data. So we are trying to bring the entire UI by bringing the chart and tiles which displays your analytic behavior, which are so agnostic and responsive, where any location, any device, any way you use, it will give you that information. And all the information is available upfront for you, rather than getting into the app and driving it out. An app will drive it to you and telling you that whether you have a timeout request, whether how many time off. So you can build your analytical index upfront on the UI itself, which is, I think, pretty cool, because now you have a real-time engine which is running along with your real-time services and giving you all that display. And the software is becoming more intuitive too. And again, for sure, as I said, it comes with the embedded analytics. We are trying to upfront bring those information there, which are configurable, where you can bring the amount of data based on your organization, based on your personas, whether you are a manager, whether you're an employee, or you're an IT organization, you can hook to it. And I think you don't need to get into any data warehousing solution, any ETLs. Everything is upfront available in a real-time way. So I think those who understand Kronos domain, think about one of the examples where you want to do the understand the totalization, understand the reporting index, understand the integrations of your payrolls, working hours, when you get into more workforce management domains. Everything is available at your UI where you can manage it out. And then for sure, I think then I want to give you another perspective. We saw the manager, we saw the employees, where employees can decide what is the schedule best for me. And I just want to give a gift glance here, where think about one of the employee like Howard would like to understand which location he wants to work on, would like to understand what shift he can opt for in case if he wants to make a shift change. Today in the world, everything is a very process driven, where the workflow goes to the manager approval, and if manager is not available, then whether it will happen or not. But in this case scenario, everything, as long as you have the rules defined, the advisor can give you those recommendations. An employee has an ability to choose and pick based on the rules and configuration defined, which can happen automatically. So I think the power of leveraging the workforce management system by a user experience from an employee, I think can be enhanced, and you can reduce your unwanted time which he's leveraging and waiting for those approval, and that could be leveraged towards better productive level, and I'm sure enhancing the employee engagement too. And we have been working very key areas, leveraging the AI and the machine learning, and I will talk about it, how we are doing it in the example. So again, picking one of the common example, I think nowadays people pick Tesla, but I thought of picking Nest here because that resonates with Google standing here. So like the way Nest has changed the market, when you deploy Nest, everyone knows it reads a pattern, understand your behavior, and then I think set the algorithm where it automatically runs the thermostat or the any security system what you leverage, it learns that. And I think this is similar kind of a behavior, a user experience we want to bring into workforce management. We know the history. We've been working with you. You've been using Kronos products. How can we do it differently by we can learn from the history, based on the data and reasoning, provide recommendations like employee time off, rostering, scheduling, analytic, where a product is driving these behaviors. And the artificial intelligence can easily solve this problem, which technically humans can do. And I think so example, like I can work in afternoon shift. When someone is not available, you can automatically see that, and you can automatically decide which person is available, who wants to do, and you can put your priorities and decide the shift pattern without any managers being engaged to manage that part. Trust me, when you go into a different vertical like manufacturing, which has like shift shops running in at the manufacturing plant, such thing is a huge labor index problem. And even if you go to hospitality sector also, even if you go to like hospitals, you will find these. So these are key areas depending upon the domain and the verticals you play in. The artificial intelligence is the way we are trying to cover, and the machine learning we are trying to do is technically providing the right forecast accuracy to the system, making sure that the algorithm what we are projecting is per customer perspective only. So for example, a question can come in mind that when you're trying to do the machine learning, is it per customer perspective or you're aggregating the entire layer? Because when you talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning can be an aggregation for everything or per customer basis. So we have specifically built our algorithms focusing on per customer layer, where we can depict your customer, your vertical, your behavior patterns, the way you use the system, and it can advise you based on that, subject to you are a manager employee, and how you can manage that out. So your decisions are smart, and I think and it will allow your manager to be a manager rather than acting and doing those services where he should not be wasting his time in. And if the glimpse what you see is a real-time use case, we're kind of showing where you can see the employee labor index depicting on patterns from a monthly layer of volumes, labor, and maintenance. Because these are numbers. People are money. The most expensive proportion in any organization, you can talk about tools, technology, infrastructure, I think it is a resource. So I think the art of managing resource with an intelligent way, I think that is what the job we leverage by leveraging our experience and working with the customers. And then for sure, coming and leveraging the technology which is provided. So now we call it as D5 because we have 5 elements which define dimensions. So for sure, software as services, I should be full if I say that. So Dimension is a pure microservices, SaaS-based architecture, where our platform as services are D5 area, API and integration. So seldomly we've been asked from a customer that how can I use my data? How can I integrate my data with my third-party services? And can I have a SQL where I can run, if you talk about legacy ways of running the software. So we thought, why don't we build an open API platform where we make customers' data available in the public API, which every tenant can consume in a secure way. And for that, I think we use one of the key element which Google provide to us by using FPG. So we leverage FPG as an on-prem software, and we build a solution along with Dimensions where we provide customers an ability to have public APIs where they can consume their data, whether it is a reporting function, it's an integration function, or it is a customized function which they want to do. So that level of data is available so that they can get the data out and hook it to any of their CRM system and make their back office system and IT system more efficient. The artificial intelligence, by building out our own cluster computing framework, by using known technologies available, we are trying to seed individual customer data, playing through the algorithms by understanding and creating the workforce advisor mechanism to depicting those behaviors for the customers. Whether it is decision-based, or whether it is based on the AI language of 100 commands of human layer by ingesting that and recommending those behaviors. Then we also, and along with the in-memory computing, we are also predicting the analytical layer. So if you are punching it here, you have an ability to have real-time analytic display within the UI itself. So those days have gone when you're running an ETL. And I know for Google in front of sounds new, but we still have legacy software who does that, where you have a 12 hours of ETL running and the data is coming. You have a real-time analytics way where you can do. And we leverage that by leveraging the computing power available from a Google when we use their GCP platform. So I think the benefits here, that it's an open platform, it's predictive, it processes large volumes of data by leveraging GCP compute platform available, which provides us. It manages the adaptive rules and suit interaction, which we build with our algorithms. And then also, it unifies the data access, where the information access is available. We build Workforce Designer for you, where you can create your own business flow to accept that information. And as I said, this GI platform from an API has been we call as an API gateway. We build the entire dimension architecture very heavily built on one of the secret principles of SaaS, which is throttling and guard railings. Because when you build a multi-tenant architecture, you want to make sure that every customer data is secure, protected, there are no noisy neighbor configurations. So FPG plays a big and important role for us. We're not only externally publishing the APIs, including even internally, we make sure that the whole ecosystem talks via that ways. So we can control that. And then we can also, and if in case a customer requires, there's a further customization of API, they are possible where we can leverage the same process of certification to launch that for them. And I think in a simple way, it's a modern cloud with a robust API framework built on an artificial intelligence, for sure using the blazing fast in-memory compute, which comes from inline compute platform from Google. I think one of the key areas, and I will talk about Google also highlighting when we leverage one of the areas and reason we come here. And then I think the flexible domain model, what we built on a pure microservice architecture where every technology has a domain model which allows us to fetch the data by leveraging the APIs and presenting it out, whether in a public APIs way or in a business workflow information available on the product itself. Which is totally, I would say, a big transformation from Kronos, from Workforce Central, 17 years, 41 years in the market, from an on-prem to a hosted model to a pure SaaS native cloud-built model. And I think that is where I think Dimensions is our next transformation business where we are. Now I think one of the business objectives we want to make sure that consumer can have, it's a fantastic, great experience for you guys. You can work anywhere, any device, what you want. Purely UI responsive. You can collaborate scheduling, your timekeeping for salaried employees, which is duration-based, project-based, or network time-based, can be very well managed. And then we can meet any industry-specific requirement, which we cater. And I think based on the experience what we have. Any question? I'm sure you feel free to ask any question what you want, but then I want to come to the important part. One of the key elements when we chose Google, and I will tell you, I used to say that to Veronica, to Jason, and to Shane and other people when we started Google. I can write thesis on that because when I chose Google 3 years back with the team, everyone was asking about why Google, why not Amazon. I would say I think one of the reasons when we chose, we were in a transformation phase, and we needed a partner who can tell us that how can we see the bigger picture rather than going back to our world of host and private cloud, how you do the business, how a cloud native work is looking in the model, how they can work and partner with us by understanding our model. And we are actually I would not say I think we are different because now Google has so many customers. I used to say that is kind of an old. We kind of build a platform agnostic architecture. Today in Google, we just use the GCP layer with infrastructure services. Rest everything is a platform agnostic model the way we have built. And I think I would say it's a kind of a use case where people who think that Google just have containers, you come and build container. No, you should think like Kronos as an enterprise who comes with a pure private cloud experience, redesign the platform with the next generation offering as a greenfield, built GCP as a native services from infrastructure, and wrote our own architecture by leveraging the entire cloud nativeness. And I think that is where, as an example, and I believe we learned a lot, Google learned a lot, and we were in this journey from last 3 years where I think we have complemented each other. And today we stand where I'll tell you, like, I could say that we are live, it's been 1 year, but we have been live 3 years. I have 6,000 people using Google in Kronos. We have literally, if I count internally, close to more than 1 million employees in the system. We have close to 4,000, 5,000 tenants internally being leveraged by engineering and our internal organizations. And then we have literally 80 customers in the implementation and close to 6, 7 customers live. And I think every week and every year, I will say, they're in the progress where we are signing in. So I think the overall experience in terms of, for sure, I think for the context, it is the best fiber class network security perspective. In terms of cost to the business is great. But I would say I think it's a partnership. When we needed Google, I got everyone available. It's not like you have to go to Diane Green. At the end of the day, I think it's the people and engineers who work. I think everyone was available from an executive layer to the Google technical layer. And I believe they're very smart guys. When you talk to them, and one of the stars, she's just joining, she's late, but I excuse her. So, and I think, we are on this transformation business, and I think we are still not done. Every year when we come here, our eyes got open. Okay, we thought we are doing great. We're in the SaaS first, but when Google shows us, here is the next 5 years where you will go. So we tighten again and focus on projects again, where that how can we improve the services? And at the end of the day, it is for customers. I think what we have to learn from Google, that even though Kronos were small and Google were big, they gave us that level of support to understand. And I think that's what we are trying to learn, that also customers, like be the customer's consciousness, customer experience, and their opportunity drive us. And then we should partner up by leveraging the technology and build it out. So to me, I think standing today here, I could say, and very firmly, and I feel proud, that 3 years back, the decision we made, and today where we are with Google Journey. And I can tell you, like 3 years back, I had 10 couches I was seeing. Today, Google Cloud is everywhere, It's getting short of it. So the experience for Kronos, I think overall from our engineering, we build our software there, and we build software in a very different way by challenging even Google that sometimes, that how can you leverage just infrastructure to build. And then we also have large customers running in the system, where not only here, I would tell you, customers running from international location hosted in US with a fantastic latencies, fantastic response time. So I think our experience has been great, and I think we are on the learning curve by learning from our customers sitting here, and then also learning from Google by getting more inputs. So it has been a fantastic journey. I would like to thank all the Google, plus also all the customers who has been patient and giving us this opportunity. Because you don't get an opportunity to redo a software again and again. It's a lifetime opportunities. So I'll pause. I know we finished. We have time for questions. I would still request if you can ask here. If you can't, I don't want to bother you. If you're on a recliner, you're open, I can take your questions.
So when is this infrastructure going to be available for smaller organizations, like from your Workforce Ready product? This is D5, is that right?
Just that is D5. Correct.
Yeah. Is there a roadmap or plan for those users using Workforce Ready?
Absolutely. So part of this offering we chose Dimension. In fact, I don't know whether Veronica asked you this question, because she's asking me every time when Ready is coming to Google. So just to repeat a question. So Workforce Ready is one of our acquisition. Workforce Ready is another product which is fantastic, which is for our small, medium industry scale. Not hosted in Google, but a SaaS product, does pretty well business. So part of the transformation, our approach was that, you have to understand, an enterprise company coming to public cloud world 3 years back, I can't tell you how I have to convince my executive to be there, but I think they accepted. So we have a success path here with Dimensions building out in Google by leveraging the platform agnostic model. And it's already in our pipelines, where soon we'll be leveraging the same for Ready. From a customer perspective, whether you use Google or not, what you see is the product available. But I think we already have work in progress. And very soon you will see it will be available there too. From our perspective, I think we don't want to get into the infrastructure business. We want to focus on our domain business and enhance user experience. And these guys are spending billions of dollars. Let them do it and give us that service. So I think we have a successful success with Dimension, and we want to carry over with others also. So soon you should see it will coming. It's already on the pipeline.